week. It's Wednesday in Los Angeles. There's going to be the press conference for Tyson Fury's third fight with Deontay Wilder. I think it's July 26th, the fight. What do you make of that and the changes that Wilder's made since the last fight, predominantly with the trainer bringing in Malik Scott instead, who was already part of the camp but is now the head trainer?
I'm not going to view it as being so significant. It looks like Deontay's working very hard. I mean, from what I'm seeing and hearing. But Malik was in the picture before. I think Malik knows boxing. I think he's a decent trainer, but I think that Mark Breland was a decent trainer in new boxing, and I don't know how much of a difference that's going to make. I think that Deontay will be hungrier. I think Deontay will be better prepared. I think there'll be less distraction and nonsense, and I expect a better showing from him. But it's hard to pick him. I'm not picking him. However, is it a dangerous fight for Tyson Fury? Hell yeah.
Those are the words of Lou Dibella as they ask him what does he feel about Malik Scott being Deontay Wilder's new head trainer. Okay. Or should I say head trainer, because he's always been there. And like Lou Dibella explained, well, he doesn't see the significance because Malik Scott has always been there. He's always been in the corner of Deontay Wilder. Now, he's not really impressed because he feels that Mark Breland was also a good trainer. Now, let me counterpunch real quickly. I think that Lou Dibella brings up a good point, and I think he doesn't miss the overall reality and the truth that Mark Breland was also a good trainer. I think people are getting too carried away with Malik Scott being the head trainer than Mark Breland being the head trainer. Here's the problem, though. What Lou Dibella's not understanding is Mark Breland was never the head trainer. Mark Breland was the more qualified. He wasn't the head, though. Okay, the way they ran that is Mark Breland was allowed to do only certain things with Deontay Wilder when he worked with Deontay Wilder. In other words, he had censored ability or censored restriction when it came to Deontay Wilder on what he could tell Deontay Wilder or what he could instruct him to do. His instructions were censored all the way through, according to the interviews that we witnessed about Mark Breland and his son, okay? They were told that, hey, don't bother Deontay Wilder with this particular thing today. He's not in a good mood, therefore don't bother him. So since JD's was the management on top of being the head trainer, he was a direct obstacle, hindrance of Deontay Wilder himself, because he could also, being management, he could also say, hey, Mark, don't let him do this today. Also being, hey, I'm also the head trainer, so I can also tell you what to do. So not only am I paying you, I can also tell you what to do. So I can also be that guy that tells or can regulate what Deontay Wilder does from day to day. I think it has changed because I think that Malik Scott doesn't have the censorship that Mark Breland had when he was trying to do what he could do with Deontay Wilder from camp to camp. Okay, so I think that's going to be a major change in that, because Deontay Wilder is doing what he is allowed to be instructed to do. I think he lifts those restrictions. I think since he's hungrier, I think now he's more of a open-minded person to learn more, to train more, to do different things. Since he's doing different things, I think because he's training, he's going to get different results. Okay, so I think that is a significance. But I did like what Lou Dibella said, like, hey, Mark Breland was also a good trainer, so you can miss me with Malik Scott. He's a fighter. He knows the game. He knows the sport of boxing. But, hey, don't get it twisted. Mark was also there. But Mark was also censored in what he could teach Deontay Wilder from camp to camp and day to day. Okay, so I just want to make that be known with what Lute is saying. But will it mean anything? I think so, because I think the desire in Deontay Wilder will change a lot. But we will see what he can do when he fights Tyson Fury, because also what Lou Dibella said is like, hey, He hasn't been in the ring since the last time. And the last time he took a beating. He was beaten pillar to post. He was. So that has to have some type of psychological impact on Deontay Wilder. Now, could it turn into anger, which I think it is? Wrath, I think it is. I think it's things that he's angry about because while he was getting beaten from pillar to post, he feels he was also cheated. So I think that it's a combination of him and his anger towards that, along with the disappointment of being beat up. So as long as you're getting beat up, you're not going to really focus on this guy beating me up. You're going to more focus on this guy cheated me to beat me up. Okay, so I think it's ingenious, honestly, because if that's not true, which I don't really believe it's true, but if it is, he has to believe it is true. So he can have that mindset, this guy cheated me and I'm out for blood. That's why he's training so hard. That's why he changed up his training camp. That's why he instructed JD's like, look, you're back here. You're not up here no more. So I got to have somebody that's going to teach me how to punch, how to dip, slip, and counter, okay? Catch and shoot. Those type of things I need to focus on. I need to focus on the body also instead of just the head of a puncher's chance of hitting someone with that right hand, the punch that ends it all. No, I need to land more punches. I need to learn how to throw more punches, different varieties of punches. I need somebody in here that's going to teach me different stuff, okay? That's what I believe Malik Scott is in there for. And I think the regulations, of course, was changed. But Lou Dibella said, hey, I'm not picking him just because Tyson Fury did such a good job with him the time before. Now, let's continue.
Yeah. You know, you're fighting. Look, the people that are calling Deontay the greatest puncher in history are forgetting about a lot of people. And I'll go to the top of the list of the people they're forgetting, the great Joe Louis.
Okay. Let me counter this, what Lou Dibella said. A lot of people, again, got carried away with the idea of Deontay being the hardest puncher. It was a great marketable PR angle, okay? It was a great angle. Hey, I'm the hardest puncher in heavyweight history. Tyson Fury endorsed it. Hey, he is the hardest puncher in heavyweight history, no doubt about it. He endorsed it himself. So what it is, I think that goes to people's head, and I think it went to Deontay Wilder's head. I think it does. But if you look at, and I want to make this known to people, if you look at the guys that punch the hardest punching guys, they never were the most successful. Think about what I'm saying. George Foreman got beat by a guy that wasn't known to be a hard puncher, Muhammad Ali. Yeah, he destroyed Joe Frazier, but he got took to school by Ali, right? The next fight he lost after that because he was in denial. Right? Ernie Shavers never was a champion. So at least Wilder could say, hey, at least I was a champion. Mike Tyson eventually got beat. David Tua was never a champion. He got beat. Hardest puncher. Okay? Deontay Wilder, hey, also got beat. These guys that are known for the hardest punchers, they get this rap of being the most successful, and a lot of times they're not. Eventually, somebody comes around that's normally not even associated with power that takes them out. Okay? Was Holyfield a devastating puncher? No, but he took out Mike Tyson. Okay? David Tua, well, he met another beast, so he's a different kind of acute situation. You know, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, pillow puncher. Go figure. Picked apart. So I want people to understand, just because you're the hardest puncher or known as, I had that reputation as the hardest puncher, doesn't mean that you are the most successful. All right, so let's continue.
But certainly in boxing today, Deontay still remains the biggest puncher. So there's always a danger fighting an explosive puncher. So this fight is not without significant risk for Fury. And look, now, I think Tyson's head is in a good place. I think he's been a healthy guy for a while, but he's not a hungry guy the way he.
Okay, now, I like that Lou Dibella brought this up. Is Tyson Fury still hungry like he used to? I don't think he really is. I think, you know, when you do beat someone that bad, you do get this sense of, hey, of confidence. And I think you could overlook Wilder. Okay. And then if you listen to what Tyson Fury's been saying lately, Tyson Fury's been saying, hey, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do you worse. I'm going to run over you. When you hear him say those type of things, it's easily for him to disregard, disregard what Deontay Wilder is working on and accomplishing. So it is easier to get caught with a punch, especially when you're overconfident or you're overzealous. Okay, so I do like this this video. You guys tell me what you think about Lou Dibella picking Tyson Fury, stating that the Malik Scott introduction to head trainer is not significant. Tell me what you think. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.